People of Reddit, how far did you go in a game of truth or dare? Story 1. I was dared to get a BJ from my girlfriend in front of everyone at the party. Seemed more like a dare for my girlfriend, but she viewed it as, you're the one who has to get naked, and was down for it. For context, it was in high school, small town 2004, mostly theater kids, 30-ish people at the party, and skinny dipping and streaking had already been dared and completed. It happened for a minute or so to very mixed reactions to those in attendance. Damn, your friends really did you dirty, but at least you were pleased. I wish someone gave me that dare. Story 2. Not me, but was a neighbor's fiancé. I lived in an apartment complex and we had some friends over and had also invited the new neighbors. A med school grad and his fiancé. Nice enough couple and seemed pretty tame. Overall is a pretty equal mix of 4 guys, 4 girls, and the girls were all sitting at the kitchen table and guys were back and forth between the den and the patio to smoke. Hours go by and we're all pretty drunk and the guys had started taking shots and playing truth or dare. All the guys were out back and I'd come in to get another beer and use the restroom. While I'm coming out of the bathroom, I hear the seemingly tame fiancé say truth and one of the girls asks, "Have you ever had an encounter in exchange for something?" I felt embarrassed at first because I'm thinking my perverted friends are corrupting this innocent young woman. She was probably 22 or 23, but I'm like, I gotta hear this. So I walked back to the fridge and this girl looks back to make sure her fiancé isn't inside and she says, "Back in college, I asked a cute stranger at the liquor store to buy me some beer and he said only if I blew him. So I did." We weren't expecting that level of truth. Story 3. I peed in the litter box in our basement. My mom thought the cat had a serious issue because it filled the whole box. My brother ratted on me and my mom scared the crap out of me by saying she was going to have to put the cat down because of a bladder issue. I cried and told her the truth. Story 4. When I was 16, there was a girl I really liked, and she invited me over to play truth or dare with some of her cousins and brother. Long story short, they all dared me to run naked across this field, which was way further than anyone had gone. Being a dumbass and wanting to impress the girl, I did it. They took my clothing and locked the doors, and I ended up having to run naked about 2 miles through neighborhoods back to my parents' house, which was locked, so I had to ring the doorbell to get them to let me in. Most embarrassing moment of my life. She later said that it wasn't her idea, but needless to say, I didn't want anything to do with her after that. Story 5. I had a crush on one of the girls at the party. She thought that I was an annoying brat and wasn't her type at all. She was dared to strip down to just her panties and go into a bedroom with me for 15 minutes. We started talking once we were in there. When they opened the door, I kicked it shut because we were making out. We didn't actually go all the way though. She was the first girl I ever saw topless. We dated for a year before going to college and we're both now married to other people. Story 7. When I was 18, 19 or so, I, male, was pretty timid and still a virgin. I went to this party at my friend's and we started playing truth or dare and ended up with all the guys making out with all the girls. A group of maybe 7 or 8 guys and equal number of girls. This one girl there, she and I had been friends since 6th grade and I knew she'd always had a crush on me. All her friends kept trying to push things with her and I during the game. Later during the game we made out, but that was the extent of it. At some point we're all drunk and she loudly proclaims that I need to follow her inside and she's going to take my virginity. I saw this girl as more of a sister and had zero interest in that, so I declined. Next thing I know she's gone and one of my best friends is also missing. I was kinda sad, but I wasn't really into her, so I don't know why. I guess I just didn't like the thought of those two, you know. Anyway, they both emerge an hour or so later and it quickly spreads that they'd both gone into a bathroom and had a happy moment. Few days later I found out from my buddy that he caught the herpes from that girl during that encounter. Whoa, what a close call. If you had a couple more drinks maybe you would have been the one who would have caught the herpes. Good job though. Wish I listened to my guy that one time during high school when I caught. Never mind. Maybe someday I'll tell you about that unpleasant story of mine. Story 8. When I was like 13 my friend dared me to show my PP to his mom. She was just making lunch in the kitchen and I went for it. Her immediate reaction was, "Did Andy tell you to do this? All his friends do this to me." Apparently that was his go-to dare. Geez, I hope you're no longer friends with Andy because he sounds like one very weird and unusual kid. Who would ever dare someone to do that to their mom? That's just ridiculous. Story 9. At 14, I got dared to kiss a classmate. She was in a relationship but didn't mind. Quick peck on the lips. I brought up how I'd never actually made out with a girl. She immediately volunteers to teach me. She does. Drunk on newfound confidence, I pull her aside later that night and ask her if she feels like being frick buddies. I said, since your boyfriend is out of town, you could have the romantic stuff with him and the fricking stuff with me. I swear to God, those were my exact words. 99% of the time, it would get you slapped, but the odds rolled 1% this time. She responded by pulling me into the hallway and we sucked face for an hour. 2 days later, I lost my virginity. Another week and I've learned every fricking position I know today. A month later, she announces she's starting to feel guilty about cheating on her boyfriend and decides to break it off. I'm fine with it. Lost my virginity and gained a no complications frick buddy at 14, all because of a single dare to kiss someone. God, I love that game. Story 11. I was once dared to go into a Walmart, buy a pack of the largest condoms I could find, then still at the counter, take 2 out and put them over my hands and try to get the clerk to shake my hand. He did not. Story 13. I was dared to pee on my neighbor's doorstep. I hate my neighbors. So I did it. This happened in my mid-20s. I'm a grown woman and I peed on my neighbor's doorstep. For a couple of weeks I lived in fear that they had surveillance cameras. Jesus Christ. Imagine if they caught you on surveillance doing that. You would have probably been arrested and prosecuted. I don't want to sound like a boomer, but please be careful what you do because one moment of stupidity could send you straight to a jail cell. Story 15. I had to put blue Kool-Aid powder on my butthole while on my knees in a face-down, but up position and then fart to make it look like a puff of blue smoke. I then went to the bathroom to clean my butt, and while I was cleaning I decided to take a look to see if I had gotten it all, and I noticed that my butt crack was stained blue. At the time I was intoxicated and thought this was hilarious, so I decided to show my friends. After a few minutes of laughing, one of my friends says, "Dude, you look like you just got fricked by Papa Smurf." Wow, yeah, okay, that's a great story, bro. I'm sure makes me feel confident and secure in the youth and the future of our planet. God help us all. Story 16. In 5th grade at a birthday party we all played Truth or Dare. My friend knew I had a crush on this girl, so he dared me to kiss her. She said, "I'm sorry, I'll hug you, but I want my first kiss to be with someone that I like." Ah, that still hurts to this day. Story 17. I was once in an underwear party during my studies in Sweden. I am from Spain, in a residence with 90 people, which was basically an entire flat full of students. This Brazilian friend of mine told me she wanted to do the underwear party for her 25th birthday, and at the beginning people were a bit embarrassed, but then more and more started to join in, and we ended up like 35 people in a small bedroom in underwear playing Truth or Dare. And a girl was asked to point and kiss someone she was into, and she kissed me. Then I was asked the same and kissed her. Then she kisses me again, and now she's my ex. Story 19. Me and my best friend used to play this all the time, but he would always find ways to get out of meeting his dare. For example, I dared him to run around the block naked, so he took a toy block into the bathroom, stripped, and ran around it. Things like that. One night I got tired of it, so I dared him to run down to the end of the street naked and to actually do his dares for once. He agreed, but only on the condition that I accept his dare to stand on the front lawn naked. We agreed, so we both grabbed towels, stripped down, and went outside. On the count of 3, we both dropped our towels. He ran down the street, and I stood there looking like a very skinny, pale idiot. After about 25 seconds, I hear what sounds like a yell, and the next thing I know, he's running back as fast as he can, screaming that I need to get inside and fast. It turns out that as soon as he reached the corner, a cop car had driven past. Needless to say, we didn't leave the house for a while, and the game was over. Story 20. Made out with a gay guy for a straight minute. He did some male modeling. I'm also a totally straight guy, but this guy knew how to kiss. The girls went crazy, and I got a threesome that night just because of that guy. Best wingman ever. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.